G'day viewers, I'm Sophia Stacey and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. I'm usually behind the camera, but I'm going to be hosting for the next few shows as Graham recovers from shoulder surgery. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do. Well, hi viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. We're in Plenty in Victoria today and I'd like to introduce you to Maureen Crawford. Maureen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sophia.
Now when you have a look at Maureen's work, you'll see that there's lots of colour and lots of imagination as well.
I love to let my imagination run a bit too wild sometimes.
You were saying when you were a child that you thought of magic carpets and you were inspired by a writer.
I loved Enid Blyton because she wrote about real children and I longed to be one of them because they loved to go on adventures, and at the faraway tree was my aim. I had to find the faraway tree and go down the magic slide, but unfortunately I never did, but I have through my art and my writing.
Maureen's actually written a couple of books as well, and a lot of the art that you'll see today is from the illustrations from your books or the paintings from your books.
Well, I didn't realise before I started writing my books that I actually, most of my life, made up stories. But I never thought about putting them in a book. Even as a child, I lived in a magical world. And now I'm able to write about my imagination, dreams, or whatever they are, you know. Very exciting, and share them with others.
Your daughter has actually also written a book about you as well.
Oh, very exciting but scary. I had to share my diary with her.
Oh my goodness.
Of all my personal things, you know, that wasn't easy. If I wasn't this age, I'd never have done it, to tell you honestly. But as you get older, you start to be more at ease with yourself, I think. And your faux pas and silly things don't seem so bad anymore.
The book is about your life, but also about her life and what it was like growing up with an artist for a mum.
I was terrified of what she was going to say. I mean, you know, we had wonderful times, but there were times when I wasn't so wonderful.
Oh, I can't imagine
like all mums.
Maureen.
Oh, totally. But the kids were great. I was very fortunate to have such beautiful children. They actually grew me up. They taught me a lot. Yeah, so we had wonderful times together.
And we're actually having Lady Danielle come in to have a little chat a bit later on. But we're going to get into painting today. Now you've prepared a few pieces, but you've started on the drawing here.
Yes. I like to start with a drawing, a small drawing, and then I enlarge it to a large drawing, and I draw it up in ink. So then with the transparent acrylics, I love oils too, but acrylics I can still see my drawing no matter at what stage I'm at.
Yes.
So that transparency really helps.
But today we're working with...
I'm doing illustrations for my books, so I want them correct. That's why I'm working with acrylics.
Great. All right, well let's get started, shall we? Okay, Maureen, well I can see that you've popped up your second piece. What sort of paints have you got there?
I use acrylic paint, a warm and a cool of each colour, like basic colours, basic yellow, and then a lemon, which is the warm and a cool of the yellow.
Yes.
I use ultramarine blue and a phthalo turquoise, which is a warm and cool of a blue.
Yes.
That's more to the green. And white and black.
Lovely.
And of course of the red, the crimson, alizarin crimson is the cool, and that's the warm colour red. I enjoy seeing colours beside each other. I don't worry about colour wheels. Maybe when I was young I learnt that, but now I just paint what pleases me on the painting. At the moment I'm concentrating on working for my book, so I'm mostly just enlarging my illustrations. I love drawing and making them into art. I've been watching Colour in Your Life and I've got lots of ideas. I've learned techniques I didn't know about. I've learned, like even this, I mean, I've been buying the Atelier paint, and no one told me that you could spray them with water. Like, I've been pouring water over them and getting my colours far too watery. This gives a very fine spray and stops your colours drying so quickly.
Looks like you're using just plates for your palette there.
This is what I like to use, because I can just pop a plate over the top and keep the colours moist.
Oh, good idea.
Give them a spray and that keeps them moist, and then when I want to go back to that colour, then, because quite often when I'm starting a painting, I don't have it quite so orderly. You know, I might decide on the pink and the blue beside it or something like that, but then I might work over the other side.
Let's have a look and see you get some of these paints on the canvas. But you're just blocking in at the moment.
I'm just blocking in flat colours all over.
Great. That's a beautiful colour too, isn't it?
Yes, I love turquoise, it's beautiful. One of my favourite colours, although I think I love all colours. It depends on the day.
Now, we were talking about when you started art when you were a child and the inspirations that you had, but you've had a long and successful career, starting in the 70s, doing commissions for portraits and landscapes.
Well, I painted a lot of children because people love portraits of their kids, and I really do enjoy painting children because as the children grow older, the people love the portraits more, whereas adults, it takes them a long time to grow old and love their portraits.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not really into portraits as such. I love painting people sometimes, but I enjoy painting lots of different things. I love the world, I love nature, I love my imagination. There's just so much to do that you never ever have a blank canvas. If there's one in the house, you always fill it.
So Maureen, I know you've been in numerous exhibitions throughout your career. You've had a piece which toured Australia with the Blake Prize.
Yes, they did an exhibition in all the capital cities of Australia.
Yes.
And I was chosen to go in that, which is very exciting. I didn't expect that. That was the first time I ever entered a major prize. I just finished art school and got my degree, which was very exciting and very encouraging for me.
Fantastic. And you've done lots of study in your career. Apart from your own studies, you have also taught a lot of people and had many workshops over the years. But we've got some of your images from your life drawings. They say it's really important to do the life drawings to find your form.
Yeah, I love doing a life drawing. It teaches you, I mean, the figure is so various. Wherever you look, it changes, you know? And you have to be aware of the bone structure and the muscles underneath. But it's incredible to draw. You learn to draw basically from the figure. You can learn to draw buildings or trees or whatever. It's a way of building your drawing practice. I love to draw anything, you know, it depends on where I am. Trees or flowers or people. I love to make up my pictures for my books now. I'm finding that really fun. It takes me back to, as I said, my Enid Blyton days and the fantasy fairy books I read.
With your illustrations in your book, they're quite fantastical. Was the word you describe it?
Yeah, fantastical. I love the fantastical. My stories too, you know. It goes from quite ordinary days to the phenomenal and fantastical. It just incredibly, that's what I love, that twist. It's suddenly a very ordinary day is extraordinary. So, and that's what I love my characters to do. Just the surprise and the shock of finding an extraordinary happening, especially when they're bored. I actually was starting to paint paintings from Patrick White's books, because he's a frustrated painter. He never took up art because he had art friends, and when you're famous, you don't want to let yourself down by being a novice. But he painted incredible word pictures, and I was really inspired in probably the 80s to paint from his word pictures, because I wasn't writing then myself.
But you do a lot of writing. You write, not only have you written a couple of books and you've had your daughter write about you, but you also write a lot of poetry, which is another wonderful way to be creative.
Well, I think poetry encapsulates, in a very short space, experiences. If you write about them, it takes pages but a poem can say so much just in a short verse, you know. They're lovely. I wasn't that interested in poetry when I was young, although I did write poetry, but it's come to mean a lot more to me now. Especially other artists' poems, and other writers' poems, I should say. I just marvel at how they can express such beauty or such feeling, even the depths of pain in their work.
And you've actually put together a colouring in folio.
Yes, I do enjoy seeing the ideas that other people put into my drawings. They change them and they put, sometimes it's just so entirely different. You need to see other artists' work, you need to experience music, you need to live life, because it all comes into your art.
But you've actually designed some workshops to help people learn some techniques with their colouring in as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, people really want to make art pieces and they do enjoy art, but they don't know how to draw or colour. And it's a great way to learn the techniques of painting without stressing over the drawing. I find that people who haven't coloured in before really get great pleasure out of it.
And what a great way for people who haven't ever done an art piece to just to start and to get rid of that fear.
They've discovered it's very therapeutic, colouring in, using colour. It calms people, it's more sometimes like a meditation. You can do that for your own health, and that's one of the angles I'm coming from.
Yes.
Because people get great enjoyment and pleasure out of using colour, like I do. And I'd like to share that feeling.
Apart from the style you're doing at the moment, you've done all sorts of things over your career, and there's one here that I absolutely love, and it's called The Proposal. But there's a little bit of a story about how you set that one up. Can you tell us about that?
Well, my son Jason had a friend who asked me to come over and see his mum, who had MS, and I went over to visit her, and she said, I'd love to be photographed with my sister in these beautiful old-fashioned gowns that we have. So I arranged a shooting, like that photography day, and my son Glenn took me over to help me set everything up. And she looked at Glenn and said, I've got the perfect suit for you, top hat and everything. And she dressed him up, and she sat in this beautiful garden, and such a charming woman. And I saw the two together, I thought, wow, you know, and that's the start of that painting.
But with this one, Maureen, you just wanted to lay down a few colours to show the audience how you get to the next step.
Yeah.
And you've actually prepared another one that you've done a lot more blocking in, but we're going to take this one down, put up the next one, and you're going to show the viewers how you move on to the
next
final
stage. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, viewers, before we go back and see Maureen finish off her painting, I'd like to introduce you to Lady Danielle Simone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to grow up with an artist as a mum.
Yes, very different growing up with an artist as a mother. And it wasn't until we talked to other children at school that we realised that life was very different in their household compared to ours. Well, something that I learned from Mum, I learned many things from her, but creating the life that she desired. For Mum, balancing being a mother of 4 children, she went back to art school, did inspire me growing up. It taught me a lot of things about what you want to do in life, just go for it.
But you've actually written a book about these experiences to, and you were saying it's to inspire others, or tell us a little bit more about what the book is about.
The book's about me sharing my mum's story and being able to share her art with the world. We grew up in quite a small home, and the artworks were on the walls like jigsaw puzzle pieces. We're all the time creating and making things. And so, yeah, so I've written a 12-week course on teaching people how to actually create the home life they desire no matter what they're going through.
But we've actually got a copy of the book here. Fiction to Fame it's called. I can't wait to read it myself.
People want to come and view my website. It's called fictiontofame.com, and by coming onto the website, they're able to download the 7 steps of learning of what I learned from my mum.
And you can also go to your mum's website too, can't you? Which is
MaureenCrawford.com.au.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we should get back and see what your mum's up to.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, viewers, as you can see, we've come back and Maureen's put up the other piece that she's still got quite a bit of work to do to take us through to the last piece. So Maureen, you're just putting some white on in there now?
Yes, I completely highlight every bit of flat painting. All the highlights are put on first, and then I punch the darks in last.
Now, you were telling me about one of your childhood memories of going to the Royal Melbourne Show.
Oh yes, we loved the show. And they gave a lot of free samples in those days, you know. It was an exciting experience. And they had a few rides, like I loved to go on the Ferris wheel at night and see all the lights. It was great, so exciting.
You've got a pastel that you did of the Melbourne Show.
Yes, the kids loved to watch a band, and they went every year looking for that band, and the band people were very nice to them. It was a very exciting time for my children too. They had different experiences than what I had, but still they loved it, you know.
It's a very different world we're in today.
A very you need a lot of money world. I took my grandson last year, but it was still fun. I still had a great time. Everything changes.
It certainly does.
And that's not always for the worse. I mean, I love the modern era as well. It's very exciting with iPhones and computers. Hard to imagine when I was a child, we didn't even have television. But we had all old people coming in. They could play on gum leaves and mouth organs and tell stories. So even though it seems we might have had a dull time, we didn't. It was an exciting life too, just different. I love the television. But I loved those days when we heard stories from old people and everybody got up and sang and we had sing-alongs and, you know, a different life.
You've actually done a couple of paintings that were inspired by Indigenous legends, which is all about that too, isn't it?
Yes.
It's about the storytelling, and you've found those stories and put them into a piece of art.
Oh, I love doing that. When I was at school, everybody was into Greek legends, painting them. And I thought, well, why would I want to do Greek legends when we've got our own Aboriginals with their wonderful Dreamtime stories? So I started reading up on the stories wherever I could find them. And then I started painting paintings, making poems. Very inspirational and a lot more interesting, I think, than the Greeks. Mind you, I've painted Icarus and I do love the Greek legends too.
But a very important point, I wasn't taught about Aboriginal legends, but hopefully they are in today's schools.
Well, when I was a child, we got told that the Aboriginal were a dying race, you know, and I used to love the story of the little black girl. That they used to read it in class. They used to say the Aboriginal were a dying race, and I really believed that. So, you know, that was really bad from the time, but we're much more enlightened today, and the Aboriginals fought for their place in society. They should have been there the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they've got a very rich heritage with the Aboriginals, and I didn't even realise it until I started delving into Aboriginal legends, and very exciting. Lovely to paint, you know, really inspiring. As an artist, you never, ever have to worry about what to paint. There's just too much. Never a blank canvas in my house.
Well, especially with your love for colour and your imagination. Okay, Maureen, well, we've got a long way to go with this painting, and you were saying to me that sometimes your paintings can take up to 3 months to do.
Oh, yes, yes.
But we've got one more that's pretty much finished, but you want to show the viewers a little special product.
Yeah, I do.
So we're going to take this one down, put up the last one, and see what you've got to show us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I'd like to show you a great find. This was a big discovery for me as an artist. I love oils because you can paint over them, you can change them. When you're doing portraits, if you get the nose or the eyes wrong, or you've got the ear too high, you can just paint over it. But with acrylic, they're so transparent you can see through them. And I found with the portraits of my characters, sometimes I wouldn't be happy with the face. It just wasn't the face of the person. The nose was wrong, or the chin was wrong. Just something was wrong. And I thought, what can I do? Do I have to retrace it all and repaint it all? And I decided to look in the art shop. And I saw this, unlocking formula. And I said to the girl, what's this? And she said, you can take acrylics off with that. Hallelujah. I was so happy. And I came home and I rubbed a whole nose and an ear off my portrait. With this, I put onto Kleenex or cotton wool and I rubbed it on the painting and the paint magically disappeared, and including the pen lines. So I could redraw the whole face.
Fantastic.
And repaint it. And I've used it ever since. I love it. Even if I do a wrong colour, like a colour doesn't look right, if that pink, if I thought, no, I don't like that pink, I would like that teal blue, I could actually take it off even weeks later with that, just rub it off and repaint it.
So you're going to show us how, just for the example today, how to put that on and put your signature on.
Now probably I'd need a little bit of a shade of a colour, but I won't today. I'll just write on it because you can see what I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll paint a pale colour over the signature later.
Yes.
Not to have it quite so white, competing with the rest of the painting.
And you're just going to sign it with a texter there.
Yes.
Voila, there we are.
There you are.
Okay, viewers, well, a really interesting day. Thank you, Maureen.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love how all your beautiful colour. And as you can see, Maureen showed us a couple of little techniques today. We didn't do a lot of painting, but we had a lot of stories. And so we want to remind the viewers about your website, which is maureencrawford.com.au, and you can see all of Maureen's work. You can go and buy her books. She's got 2 books, children's stories.
And they're not children's stories, they're teenage to old people like me. Hopefully that everyone will enjoy them. I've had great fun writing them over the years and really had a tremendous time today. Thank you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. But viewers, remember to come into colourandyourlife.com.au and also our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. But as we always say, Maureen, remember, make sure you put some colour in your life.
I love colour. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.